Hi, I'm the Artie Dans from Asian Film Fans, and welcome to this review of the Hong Kong and Mainland China Wuxia and Fantasy 2023 action movie SAKRA, or Demigods and Semi-Devils. A series of high-profile murders occur where the clan leader Q Feng seems to be the main culprit. Desperate to clear his name and prove he is innocent, he leaves his clan, well, more like he's forced out of the position, and comes across a face-changing thief called Zhu. She gets critically injured while Kulfong is fighting, and he vows to take her to a medical practitioner. At the same time, he makes a promise to her to reunite her with her family. But the clans and masters keep hunting down Kulfong as they discover his blood family are actually their mortal enemies, which leads to a showdown with both the people who killed Kulfong's parents and the people who set him up. To be honest, I don't know if I've captured the story correctly, as I've never seen any of the original movies or TV series, nor have I read the book, so I came into this movie completely fresh. But one thing I am a fan of is Donnie Yen, and I came into his movies more in the mid-noughties with the start of things like Ip Man, so I missed a lot of that pre-Ip Man movie stuff, the Wuxia and fantasy-style films that he did. However, I know a bad movie when I see it, and this one is terrible. And I think it all comes down to one thing, and that is Donnie Yen. If there's something that's really obvious with Yen films, it's that he needs a strong director. Otherwise, his celebrity just takes over the film. We've seen that with previous examples for things like Enter the Fat Dragon and Come Back Home. These inexperienced directors that have directed those films, they really don't stand a chance. This is the reason that something like Raging Fire is considered a really good action movie, because it has strong and focused direction thanks to Benny Chan. Also, Donnie Yen's main action choreographer, Kenji Tanigaki, is the man responsible for a lot of the fight scenes in this movie. And this guy, he really knows his stuff. He directed the action in stuff like Raging Fire and the Rurouni, I'm always going to say that wrong, Rurouni Kenshin series back in Japan. So Kenji really knows what he's doing with these films. Now, a bit of trivia. Kenji also directed the movie Enter the Fat Dragon with Donnie Yen, and that's one movie that I didn't think was crash hot. But he's also done a lot of the action choreography in previous Yen movies, including Big Brother and Killzone, which is considered one of the best Donnie Yen movies of the last 10 to 15 years. He clearly knows his stuff. Now, here's a bit of trivia for you about Kenji Tanigaki. He played Scorpion in the 1997 Mortal Kombat Annihilation film. And speaking about the action, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to follow because there is a lot of editing going on, but it is saved by something that I absolutely adore in action movies: destruction. This movie is full of destruction, and quite frankly, it was the only thing that kept me watching this film. Doors get smashed, tables get shattered, furniture is just completely destroyed, and if you're one of those wine glasses or wine jugs, you seriously don't stand a chance in this movie because everything clearly gets destroyed and smashed, and it is fantastic for it. But a problem with the film like this is that a lot of the subtlety gets lost in the translation. What probably sounds poetic and makes sense in Chinese just sounds ridiculous when it's subtitled into English. And it isn't helped by the addition of those comic relief characters, and it's kind of really cool to see Yen just kick his ass later in the film when they're all doing that respect scene to each other. Yen just kicks him straight in the face, and you just think, you know what, mate, you deserve that. And then we get to Yuki Chen's character. She's the thief that has a lot of these face masks. And look, I've never seen the originals, like I've said, never seen the original movie or read the novel, so I'm sure it makes a lot of sense within the context of those particular pieces of work. But in this movie, it just feels a bit strange. And as someone who watches a lot of Chinese horror movies where rubber masks are one of the big reveals, it really just brought back a lot of bad memories for me. To add one final bit of insult to injury, it's all the CGI that's used. Now, I know that it's a modern day movie. We're never going to have the days of, the late 90s Wuxia fantasy movies where everything is just done by wire work and there's a lot of really great action choreography. Those days are over. You might perhaps see those in some low budget, very low budget movies, but for something like this, for something like SAKRA, big budget film, it's not going to happen. It's just going to be completely full of CGI, and that's what's happened here. We lose some of the authenticity of the genre. in that is having that CGI there. It makes all the jumps a little bit more fantastical. It makes all the destruction a little bit more intense. Now, that's a good thing because I do like looking at the destruction there, but you lose a sense of gravity with a lot of the characters. They really do float a lot more than they do in things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. They're just floating through the air. And when you combine the existing wire work that's there with the CGI on top of it, I feel like you end up with a rather average product. If I was to give it a rating out of 5 stars, probably 1.5. I don't know what you're going to say. That's really low. Why would you give it such a low rating? The problem is all these little small things that compound together, they're kind of hard to forgive. It's not a very fun movie to watch. Now, if you're a Yen fan, you've probably really been waiting for this film, and I don't blame you. You're still going to watch it, but you might not enjoy it as much as some of the previous Yen pieces of work. And especially when you think that the last great Yen action movie was Raging Fire, this one just leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. So just be prepared when you watch it. Be cautious that it's just not that great a film. Now, I want to say thank you for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed this particular style of review that we're going for. If you do, please leave a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the film, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like the film, maybe consider giving this video a thumbs down just to let me know what your thoughts about the movie are. Or put a comment below. Let's have a discussion about what you thought about the movie compared to what I found about the movie. Otherwise, I'll catch you in our next video review here on Asian Film Fans.